Senior Leadership and Management Masterclasses to influence your output, growth, change and culture.
The most common and practical strategy to send people away is just to say no, which is what you use, yes? On the other hand, if we have to also consider how that no is going to be interpreted. It depends on what level you are within the management structure of the company. Okay? So if the no has now been inferred as rudeness, you've got a conflict management scenario on your hand, which is another fire that you have to put out. So there has to be a certain vocabulary that we use to make sure that person goes away with a yes, he or she was quite right to say no, and they've justified it. And I'm not offended. I'm going to go and work with it. So baseline strategy would be get used to saying no. The vocabulary, however, would be along the lines of helping the person recognise that there's an alternative to getting you involved. An alternative to passing the buck. An alternative to passing back to you the project that they've delegated. Yes? Now, when someone says to you, have I got a minute? Is it really a minute that they want? No, what is it? 10, 20, 30 minutes and you're still talking. Now, if we are already very good with our time, it's likely it would be more along the lines of 10, maybe 15 minutes. But they're still stealing your time. And we want to get away from that problem frame of them stealing your time, as we have already discussed. So either we just say no and followed up with go away, or an instruction. You use directives, and a directive is an instruction to go and do something else apart from bothering you and involving you. First thing you do is you give them a time frame in which to explain to you the problem that they have. If you let the person know that yes, you do have a minute, they're asking for that minute, you can let them know, yes, I do have a minute, and I have a maximum of 3. Yes? Or maybe 5 minutes. Typically, when I've used my freelance team, someone wants to ask me a question and uses the have you got a minute, or can I just quickly ask you a question, which is the closed question followed then by their open question, which is really the problem. Never really understood that. Can I ask you a question? Well, you just did. So you no more permission for any further questions. Give them a time frame, something like 3 minutes. What will they do then? When you give them a time frame?
Get to the point quickly.
Yeah, they'll be more succinct, won't they? They get to the point as quickly as possible. That's what you want them to do. Then you allow them to share with you what the problem is. So what I would say is, yes, I've got a minute, and in fact I've got 3 minutes. Tell me what the problem is and why you want me to be involved. Otherwise, they just want to offload. Why do you want me to be involved? Then they will be able to justify the fact that they've involved you. When they've justified, you then paraphrase or clarify. Check for understanding. Very, very quick stuff. Just check for understanding. So as I understand it, you want me to do this, this, and this. Is that right? Yes? And you can then consider coaching. And we're not going to spend 2 days doing coaching skills, are we, Dave? No. So what would we do if we are coaching the individual now? What do we want them to do?
Do it on their own. We want to facilitate them to be able to go away and do it themselves.
Yes, so when we are coaching another person, we're facilitating their thinking. So we ask them, open questions to help them to think how they can be more resourceful, as opposed to just dump onto you. You want to get away from that whole process that they execute when they just dump and unload onto you.
Enroll on this masterclass now to influence your output, growth, change and culture. Enroll now at nicholashill.com or call 0345 678 9900.